Let's go.
All rise, order in the court. It is time. Happy Monday, Mikey.
It is Monday, Creed, and it's back to court. Everybody's in the courthouse. Folks is doing their thing. Four of the most handsomest guys I've ever seen in one screen right here.
Yes, this guy here definitely does not dye his hair by any means.
No. He just happens to work in a coal mine. Keeps his hair nice and dark.
You said we got something live or very close to?
No, yeah, I backed it up just a little bit so we could take off from here. So this is happening now. Keep that in mind. So we're going to try and limit our stoppers and goers as much as possible, but we will still be acknowledging everyone in the most amazing way possible. Also, programming note, at 3:30 today, there'll be a new video up on Credence and Mikey, some court with a deadbeat bounty hunter, Creed. We all love a good bounty hunter.
I know.
And then at 6 p.m. on Credence and Mikey, you can go over there if you're not at the members only for We Gotta Chase and hang out and watch Judge Simpson deal with a guy that's wanting to fire his attorney right then, right now.
Wow. Eat some corn. I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You may be seated.
Got a lot of nice girls.
Prior to beginning, Susan Mahoney, for the petitioner, if I could just make a preliminary motion which has to do with the petitioner's presentation, otherwise I would wait.
Go ahead.
My understanding from my client is that petitioners have uploaded a recorded phone call. I believe the phone call to be in violation of 973, a criminal violation, so I'd ask that that be suppressed. It is between, I believe, Ms. Sparhawk and respondent's girlfriend. Also, there is a video uploaded, and again, it has audio, again, without the respondent's permission. So I would also ask that the audio portion of that be suppressed as well.
You mean the one where he's talking to Ms. Sparhawk outside of her door?
Yes, or Mr. Sparhawk, actually.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's allowed.
Well.
All right. I haven't listened to any phone conversation, and I don't intend to.
I'm not sure she's aware that that's not legal in the state of Washington. So.
Okay. All right.
Don't be recording nobody if you're up in there in Washington. Great.
So there's that.
All right. I've read the petition. I think I may have been the one who initially entered the temporary orders. And there are some of the files that were submitted that the court couldn't open because of the way the files were submitted, but I've reviewed what I could. In essence, it seems as if the allegation is that there was a relationship between Ms. Lashley and Mr. McNeely. She wished it over, and he wants his car, and he's been pretty aggressive in seeking that and wanting to speak to Ms. Lashley over her objection. She does not want to have conversation with him. Ms. Lashley, go ahead. You can remember I've reviewed what you've submitted, at least to the extent that I could.
Absolutely not.
You can tell me what you need to tell me in addition to that.
Yeah.
All right, so everything we're figuring out with this one, Creed, this lady, this beautiful young lady over here has decided, she's parting ways with this guy, but they bought a car together.
Yeah, great idea there.
Of course they were going to stay together forever, ever. But it just didn't happen.
No,
sad.
Not a surprise. Funny that this is about the car. Emily's car is ready, and her dad wanted her to drive 7 hours to go down and pick it up today.
Gary!
Deb, thank you for the 2 points. Anyways, they're supposed to deliver it, and he wants to just jump down and go grab. Crazy.
No, they can bring that to the house.
That's what I kept saying. That's what's
They bring
happening.
that to the house.
Your Honor, Riley and I broke up in late October. I have not been in contact with him since early March. He's been pretty persistent about the car, which I myself have done all that I can to refinance. I've talked to Volkswagen of Tacoma multiple times, and it
Free
puts
plug.
myself in a situation. Refinancing the car is just, to me, is just not necessary. We both signed that lease. We both agreed that that would be my car when we were together. And when we broke up, I took the car with me as it was mine to drive. And that's really been the only argument that's been between us, but there was really no need or right for him to show up on that doorstep that night and harass us and be demanding and rude. And he's been nothing but rude about the whole car situation. And I've tried multiple times to get out of the car, to refinance the car. It is my form of transportation to and from work for all of my activities that I do. And when we signed the lease, we agreed it was my vehicle. So I don't see the need for him to be harassing me for the car. He has his own vehicle. We agreed that this would be mine. There was really no other conversation about it. I left, had no intentions of talking to him, seeing him again, meeting with him again. And ultimately, I just am fed up and I'm scared at this point because he just seems everywhere I go, he's there. I turn around and something happens. Like, we hadn't been in conversation since March, and all of a sudden he shows up on my friend's doorstep on a random night that I'm there. I don't live there. I visit there often, but he should have no idea of me being there. Like, there's no reason for him to be on that street, for him to be near their house. I don't get it. And it
AirTag in the car, Creed?
I'm lost. Who's the guy?
The guy sitting in the courtroom, the one we saw swear in when everybody else got sworn.
Oh, that's right. Jesus. All right. Thank you.
He's sitting next to his attorney that got everything shot down.
Loosen my mind. I'm like, wait, why are we? Okay. Makes sense. I mean, AirTags are fairly inexpensive. I think that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah. I hope you got like 3 in your wife's new car.
It honestly terrifies me that he just shows up areas that I'm at.
Notice that too, RJ.
When was the last time you heard from Mr. McNeely?
I submitted that. The last time I heard from him was March 1st. There was a text message that I sent in response to a voicemail that he had left for me.
I'm hoping every one of them was her.
I had told him that I had gone through all my options for refinancing and that I didn't think it was fair to put myself in a tight financial spot regarding the car. I've talked to multiple dealers from Volkswagen of Tacoma. They all have advised me that it's not in my best interest to refinance the car on my own or to get a new one, essentially. That car has $8,000 worth of negative equity, which it is what it is. I have to finish out my lease in order for me to.
Ooh, that's a tough one. By the way, welcome back, Matt. 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate you a ton. Don't forget, 5:30 East today, right?
Yeah, today for We Gotta Chase, your Chase exclusive channel here on the YouTubes. Members only, where you'll see stuff you'll see nowhere else on our channels. $8,000 negative equity, not too good. Could be 9, it could be worse.
9.
But again, she doesn't want to put herself in a tight spot, but the tight spot's what's got him where he's at right now.
To get the full amount from the car. And Riley proceeded to text me back, and I basically asked him to leave it be and to leave me alone, and his response was, "Or what?" So I changed my phone number that day. I blocked anyone or any person I thought that may have been like possibly reaching out to him or that we had a mutual contact with. And I have not looked back. And that was the last time I had heard from him until he showed up on Cassidy and
Shelly, you made very, very good choices
Just
today.
is an amazing choice. Or what? Does that sound like a threat? Like
It does a little
yeah.
bit. I can
Or
see.
what?
Chris, thank you. 2-0.
You gonna break up with me again and make me pay for your car? Already doing that.
I do like how you guys corrected her. You did not buy the car. It's even worse when you're leasing it. Then you've got all the mileage restrictions, all the, like you got to give it back at the end.
I mean, it's got its ups and its downs, but right now we're in a down, it seems, with this one.
Yeah.
Keaton Sparhawk's home that night.
Pam.
All right, you indicate in your petition that he's threatened you. Tell me what you mean by that.
Not physically threatening or by any means. It's just more of I don't have evidence of him calling my work, but he's called my work. He's left notes on my cars at my old job site. He's also threatened to take the car multiple times, which we're both on the lease and my name's on it, so I can drive it. I have both keys. It is my car.
He can take it, right?
That's the only threatening he's ever been is about the car.
I would think so. I mean, if his
He's
name's
on it.
legally on it.
Yeah, he can
Right.
take it.
Ms. Mahoney, do you have questions for Ms. Lashley?
I just wanted to clarify two things if I could. Ms. Lashley, hello, good morning. Until he came to your home on May 21st, or to Ms. Sparhawk's house, you had not heard from him since March 1st, correct?
Yes.
Or you sent him a text on March 1st, but there'd been no contact in between?
So March 1st, I responded to a voicemail that he had left for me.
Right, okay.
And then he sent the or what text, and that was the last text message I got from him because I changed my phone number. And I'm sure he would have continued to contact me about the car if I had not changed that phone number.
There you go. Buy him out.
All right, and you've already acknowledged you're both on the car, so financially both liable for the car, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And finally, that other thing is you actually did succeed in getting a refinance at Volkswagen in Tacoma, correct? And then opted not to enter it?
Ooh.
That was in
tasty.
February?
That was to look into refinancing. And I was told that I would have to pay an insane amount of money towards the car up front. And then my personal monthly payments, since I've made the monthly payments since we've had the car, every month I have made the payment myself.
Okay, there you go, guys. We were thinking he was making the payments. She's been making them all.
Shelly, I love to hear that. Appreciate you, and glad you're here.
We need more people like Shelly.
That was I was getting ready for this to really become a mess where she's like, well, we kind of split the payments,
Yeah.
Here and there, but
I mean,
you guys make a great point too. How do you have any positive equity in a lease? I don't think
know.
that's actually possible. Now, for people that drive within those mileage, the mileage restraints, yeah, you're getting a new car every few years. Then
you're always having a car payment too.
Yeah, tying up like I think it was somebody had said in the chat. Yeah, you're tying up credit, and overall, it's a crappy deal. But for some people, it makes sense. Interesting case though. I'm glad to hear that she made the payments though. I'm glad to hear that because otherwise, this would have gotten Dana. It would have gotten a lot messier.
Dana, should he have one of the keys? Dana, can we just get him off the lease? I mean, I know that's hard to do. We've seen.
I think she just said that she would have had to buy out, almost like start a new lease. I think. Yeah, crazy. Both of them are on their name.
Yeah. So I mean, we've heard all that before. It seems like a real impasse on that.
Right.
But again, we haven't heard anything really of stalking or harassment. I mean,
no, none. All about the car so far. You wouldn't even know it's a protection order.
But she claims he found her at a place that he shouldn't be able to find her at. But
she also said that he showed up on my doorstep and then proceeded to say that, well, I don't stay there. It's not my place. Did you notice that?
I believe it's Mrs. Hawk over here's place. I guess we'll hear from her in a few minutes.
That's, I guess, what that she's here.
You think they went and got their hair cut together, or
I did many
exact same haircut?
Many of our lovely Wormans in the chat has pointed out that their hair is on point, and the guys keep pointing out that she's got Mersh eyes.
Oh, that's all right. She's a good girl. She just has a wandering eye.
Matt,
Um,
Jim Tan Laundry.
So no,
bro.
it was not an option at that point because I was not going to put myself in a financial burden because we decided to do something together when we were in a relationship. Now that we are out of it, I do not think it's fair to be personally responsible for a choice that we both made.
Thank you, Kenya Brown. Appreciate that. Late fee is accepted.
Just like Kenya.
And with regard to that refinancing, you had actually, Volkswagen, where the original dealership had leased it to you, had reached out to you. You did not respond, correct? So you might have gotten a more favorable deal at the Olympia Volkswagen. Isn't that correct?
That's not correct.
That's
I
where you
actually
leased
did
the car.
talk to her on the phone and the statement was the same. The only thing that I was aware to my knowledge is that Riley showed up and signed some paperwork, but they told me that they made me aware that as long as I didn't sign any documents that there was nothing to be done. The price was going to be the same. I've went there 3 times now since February.
Probably the 8K.
We keep talking about it.
I just wanted to clarify that we had gotten what the reasoning was.
All right, and let me make clear to both parties, I'm not going to decide the right to the car.
Good
So
idea.
that's not an issue for me. The only issue for me is the nature of the relationship. I know the car is the precipitating issue, but I'm not going to decide anything about the car. This is not the form in which that will be done.
Right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Shutting down car talk.
Thank you. Does Mr.
All
McNeely
right.
wish to make any comments?
Good to see
You're going to do these separately. You received his affidavit, correct? And the brief that we filed last week. I filed it on Tuesday or Wednesday.
You see Daniel Bryan
Followed up
behind
and
him?
said, make sure it gets in the court file.
I don't have anything
I think they
filed.
brought a
The
child.
last thing I have filed is June 20th.
Oh, no. I sent it
Oh,
to
no.
the email. I called and contacted, they confirmed.
Never good when your attorney sits there and says, oh, no. Maybe a new attorney's needed.
That's definitely not good.
Oh, no.
Gail, do we have
On
anything?
Tuesday of last week or Wednesday. The TCDC. Is that
By the way, we missed Deborah super chat.
We
Thank
did.
you, Deborah.
I
Right
said-
after Debbie's.
I said, think it did we? All right. Sorry, Deborah. My God. Creek's a little off today, by the way.
That's all right. It's
But
okay.
we got it now, Deborah. Sorry.
Taken care of. Guys in the truck. Thank you. Hallelujah, guys in the truck.
It's their
I said
fault.
hallelujah, guys in the truck. You can take it down now.
Guys in the
Did
truck.
I say that right?
There's nothing in the file currently. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I filed it
Okay,
because I
yeah,
have the
yeah,
5
yeah,
days.
hold on just a second.
I believe it was
Do
Wednesday.
you have a
ma'am, if
hard
that
copy there?
helps. Pardon?
Do you have a hard copy there?
I have the brief, but not the affidavit. I couldn't print it.
She needs to go find a buy here, pay here place and just
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I wanted the option. I leased a truck one time and I wanted the option to buy it out. They wouldn't let me. And by the time they found out where I worked at over at
Can I
Next
briefly
Media
have him
Group,
testify then? I'll try and.
Sure.
Try and clean it
that's
up.
when they
Yeah,
pulled me
yeah,
that
hold
car
on.
with
I'm
the
just gonna
cost.
let Kayla just sort of finish
Oh,
looking to see if she can find the affidavit.
It was a PDF.
Yeah, it was filed.
Sometimes where you work does have a little bit of an influence.
Slight.
They
Don't
knew I
know
had-
why.
I had a right to gripe about it.
And I would email it to you again, but I can't get on Wi-Fi.
Just when he's really drunk.
And did you provide copies to Ms. Lack?
And Ms. Farhock.
Okay, thank you.
They had a mailing address and I emailed it to the address they provided.
Well,
as soon as
we
it
haven't
arrived.
heard anything about like for the protection order though.
The legit one. Yeah.
Anything other than him showing up one time.
I was not
somewhere,
served with their
allegedly.
information, but my client saw it. Were you able to open it? This is what-
Shelly Matthews,
Declaration.
Bones, paying the late fee. I appreciate that.
It's got a copy of the brief.
It's proper.
Mikey, Did you ever have to go to the Volkswagen dealership to do a remote?
I went with Bishop over to, I think it was the Kia place.
I filed one brief, but 2 copies of the declaration, one in the
And that-
Sparhawk file
And that's when what's his name come up there on a bicycle and took like 10 pizzas.
The Volkswagen dealership was the worst because it was way out in the middle of nowhere at that time. It's probably all built up around it now.
Is it Volkswagen Kia? Maybe we're talking about the same place.
Maybe it. Well, I don't. I just remember it being Volkswagen.
It's all the way down at the end of nothing.
Yeah, okay. So then it is the same place. Then yeah. I mean, it was just. I mean, it felt like you're in the middle of nowhere because it was like the end of everything.
Yes, like the end of nothing, and beyond it was just like empty fields.
And shocker, okay, shocker. Marines are not big fans of Volkswagens. They like their Mustangs and Camaros and Dodge.
Well, they were selling plenty of those. Creed. They didn't need any help with that.
Right.
The only thing that I'm showing.
Overpriced, underutilized. While I'm speaking about underutilized, make sure you like the video if you haven't done so already, and consider becoming a member so you don't miss out any of the members only exclusive things we do. All 3 channels.
Yeah, I didn't upload it because
3 days a week.
I could just.
We'd be there for 2 hours doing a radio remote, right, for the radio station. And I am not kidding you. If I saw 5 people in that time,
What was that guy's name on the bicycle?
Robbie.
Yes.
Always Robbie with the pizzas. We have Papa John's. It's what we ate all weekend for free. And he would come and he would grab as many as he can, just ride off on his bicycle. And he'd take we'd get like 2 t-shirts for a 2-hour remote. Couple of CDs, couple stickers. He'd take everything he can and just ride off.
Well, Warner, I don't know what happened.
Okay, I'm reading your brief, so.
Okay.
He's like,
Give me a
shut up.
chance to finish it,
Let me finish reading.
and then you can
He reads
present
as
this
slow as
one.
I do, by the way.
Yeah.
Judge Slow Read.
I can see that, especially if she had those glasses on. I can't believe that when I was like 19, 20, early 20s, very early 20s, I guess had good enough credit to get a lease on my own. I'm pretty sure that was on my own.
First and only time. Creed had great credit.
No, I've been lucky with my credit, TBH. Surprisingly. Very surprisingly, but
Do you think he broke up with her or she broke up with him?
I'm guessing since she's going after him, he broke up and broke her heart. Shocker, we find out at the end of this he's been banging the blonde there.
Oh, I thought he was going to say the attorney.
Or the attorney, that'd be
I
great.
was like, wow, this guy pre-planned this. I'm going to need an attorney on retainer. That's I'll sleep with her, I guess.
Is this another conversation that's happening, or are we thinking that maybe there's an open relationship between the two? Is that what you're saying? Oh, no, we're talking. Oh, this is a separate
That's
conversation.
some conversation. By the way, world's most dangerous chat. Always something going on in there. Hard copy in McCormick. This guy is so slow at reading. Golly. I would jump ahead, but I know I'd miss something.
That's a good point. But at the same time, you kind of want him to make sure that he reads all of
Madam
it.
Clerk, if I were to email
Patricia.
you, I got in, I bypassed it.
Welcome, Patricia.
Were you at
If I were able to
AEW
email
Forbidden
it
Door
to
last
you now,
night?
the affidavit, could you print it off for the judge?
Yes, it should be TCBC civil at CO.
Okay, yeah, that's not the one they gave me. Sorry.
Well,
I haven't
Can't
filed
hide
in this
money.
court before, and when I called,
let this be a lesson to everyone.
Yeah, do what Ross does. Late fee, $1.99. Appreciate you, buddy.
This is the way you do it. Also, let it be a lesson. Don't even buy a dog with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, let alone get wrapped up in a car.
I learned
why
Sit
that
you.
stuff
insurance started,
real
they
early.
won't let me do anything.
Not be doing dumb stuff like that. She's doing. Wouldn't it be funny if she just comes out, just firing on all
I worked
cylinders?
really hard to make the
with her
filing
time.
deadline too.
Is the attorney
Apologize.
drinking allegedly?
Yeah, she's in a good mood today. She's the only
Look
one
at
in the
me.
entire court.
I'm
She's like
trying. It's dark.
really on it. Technology.
Deb, we're a
Usually it's
Toyota
outside.
family now. I just saw a picture of it. It's red. I didn't know she got a red vehicle. I don't know what to think.
Ooh.
I'm so used to her being in a white.
That means
vehicle.
it's faster.
That's right. Is the insurance going to be more, or is that just California?
Doubtful.
So TCDC at,
No, it's TCDC civil.
She can't even get this email right.
on Thursday.
Oh my God. They're going to make me jump ahead. They're really pushing their luck with me right now.
Oh, we got all day.
True.
By the way,
Did-
thank you to everybody. Some amazing numbers. Like I was just looking at from yesterday. I caught up. I missed the one from yesterday and caught up. That a lot of people watch that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. That's awesome.
at county CO.
Do you think Haley lives
WNWS.
at home with her parents still?
Uh, is that a bedroom?
Yeah.
Is that a bed behind her?
Mm-hmm.
Because no, why would you? You know what I mean? Like, why would you? If you're in your own house.
Well, maybe that's where she's got the computer set up. But I tend to think she still lives at home. Her lighting is perfect.
It is very nice. Is that even real behind her? Maybe it's just a
The
green.
Yeah.
declaration
No,
I
no,
sent
that's
is
real.
actually the same for both cases, so even though it has a different heading
I'm
on
trying to
it.
figure out what that is over the bed, though. Are those ropes?
There's a lot of rope talk last week in the chat, by the way.
I know I can't get it out of my mind now. It's just stuck there.
Back, I think those are
Oh,
unassociated.
5 days a
Those
week
are for
show.
my afternoon calendar.
Case, we do this at
And we do
1
like
o'clock
every
East, Monday through Friday, and 4:05 East is We Gotta Chase, both with C's and both WGAC. So it gets very confusing, but we do that on
Okay.
purpose. Why not?
All
Love
right, so you
Thank you,
can
Wedlaw.
just get this testimony from Mr. McNeely in regards to the
Um,
questions you have for him.
Mr. McNeely, you had a relationship with Ms. Lashley, correct?
Correct.
For how long?
About 1 year.
And you
Oof.
leased a car together?
Correct.
And do you work at the Volkswagen dealership where you leased the car?
Correct.
So you did receive a pretty substantial financial deal on it?
It's a bombshell.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
Didn't see that coming. So he works
Ah.
at the remote where she at the remote at the dealership where he got the car cleared off.
Oh, I did not see that coming. And this was only a year-long relationship, dude.
Boy, oh boy. So do you think that he's done this with all of his girls? Come on, listen, we date and
You know, we're getting. I don't want to brag, but yeah, we're getting there. Volkswagen.
what kind
dealership.
of dealer? Where do you work? What dealership? Out of Volkswagen? No, thank you.
You sell cars? No. I, you know, before you get your car, they said, let's clean it up some for you. That's me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, remember, I'm not going to.
No, I understand, Your Honor. It goes to the credit. I just
No.
kind of the whole background because it is our position.
I
that
don't
this is
think
Yeah,
so.
and remember, I've read what's been filed, and I've read your
Nuh-uh.
brief, so.
Right, it's not a
Okay.
testimony, so I'm trying to give facts in the record, but I appreciate it. Okay, then I will rely on that declaration. And it's the same for both cases.
And you provided the declaration to.
Yes,
Ms.
brief and
Lashley.
declaration, both for mail.
Okay, thank you.
Did you not receive them?
We did
No,
not
Your Honor.
receive. No, Your Honor. We have
Oh,
not.
God, this attorney.
They were put in the US mail last Tuesday.
All right, well,
The
then I
US
can't
mail?
read
Who
this
says
because
that?
they don't have access to it.
All right.
And
I'll
it's
just
not
have
in
him-
the court
I will
file,
have him
so
testify.
do it by way of testimony, please.
Mm.
All right, and with regard, then, when you broke up, she did take the car, correct?
Correct.
And may I have some latitude to lead, just to,
Yes, sure.
thank you. And Mr. McNeely,
Happy birthday.
when she took the car, was it your understanding that she would attempt to refinance it, so you were not
Right.
financially obligated?
Correct.
All right, and so did you try and reach her to follow up on that?
Yes.
All right, were you calling her, how many times do you think you called her between end of October and February?
It was a long time ago, but I want to say probably 6 times.
And at one point,
Six
when you happened to
times.
be driving by her workplace in Olympia, did you stop and leave a note in the car?
Correct, on the windshield.
What did it say?
Talking about the car, we need to talk and get off this loan.
All right. And why did you go into her workplace?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
It's not my business to go in there. I just want to get off the loan so we can separate.
All right. And did you plan on going there?
No, I was driving by and
And where is your understanding of where Ms. McNeely, or excuse me, Ms. Lashley was living after you broke up?
was Miss Farhawk's house when we broke up. She had moved there. She had,
Oh,
So
She
have you
moved in
been
with the
by
Hulk.
the house at all between October and May 21st of this year?
no, ma'am.
So when you went there, it was your belief she was
Living
living
there.
there?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you remember about what time it was that evening?
it was about that time.
Lady Lotus, 5 bones. Thank you. Hey guys, I have a Chase Fitted top tier. I want to share it with you all working this. CB show email at gmail.com. Exclamation point mail in the chat. It'll come up.
Yeah. The B is for me.
I do not recall the exact time.
Was it in the middle of the night?
No, ma'am. No, it was probably sunfall.
All right. And when you were there that evening, did you ever speak with Ms. Lashley?
No, I did not.
All right. Did you ever see Ms. Lashley?
No, I did not.
All right. And who did you speak with?
Keaton Sparhawk and then Cassidy had spoken as well.
All right. But when you initially were remembering this, did you even remember speaking with Ms. Farhawk?
No, ma'am.
So your primary conversation was with him, correct?
Exactly.
Did you threaten anyone with their physical safety?
No, I did not.
All right. Did you make any threats of any kind to anyone?
No, I did not.
All right. Have you ever physically harmed Ms. Lashley in any way?
No, I have not.
You ever threatened her physically in any way?
No, I have not.
And between March, when she asked you not to text her anymore, and you stopping by in May, had you made any attempt to contact her at all?
No, I have not.
All right. And have you ever tried to talk to her about anything other than this car loan?
No, ma'am.
And what does being on the car loan do for you? Why are you so concerned about it?
Because I have a life with a new girlfriend. I have a daughter I have to look after, and we are looking to purchase a home that's affecting me financially. On this loan.
Wow,
The
that's a
home
lot.
thing, didn't you say that about the home? You were making
Yeah.
a joke about that. This
Wow.
dude, can you imagine what it's like, this new girl, when you've got ties to this one, which, yeah, it's only a year of a relationship, but still, you've got a tie like that with the car situation. Can you imagine?
You're trying to, you know, obviously you probably got this other girl pregnant, I'm guessing. They're getting married, they're getting a place, and
Gary, I would have agreed with you until I just heard that out of his mouth, because now I'm just thinking,
yeah,
man,
he don't want you no more. Don't you worry about that. I don't even think he's stalking her anymore, but he could be harassing her about the car, sure.
But we should say this again. This is for a protection order. No, we're going to hear from her, I would imagine.
She's done a lot of nodding and
yeah.
this and this.
But still, she said that he called like 6 times. She showed up, or he showed up to her doorstep one time in a place that she doesn't even stay.
The Hawks.
That's really all we've heard, right? I mean, that's all
So far.
Okay.
As well as mental stress, just knowing that I am tagged along with Haley. I don't want to be in her life anymore. That's the sole reason I want off this loan.
And there's about another year and few months. What is it? September of 2025 that the lease is up for 24.
2025, I believe.
Woo, buddy.
Cole, good luck
I
with
think
that. My
At
God.
this time, Your Honor, that
Hang
is
in there,
all.
Cole.
Okay, thank you.
My wife has that done before.
Ms. Lashley, Mr. McNeely says between October and February, he called you approximately 6 times. What's your memory?
Your Honor, I believe that if we're gonna get into our
Okay.
deep into the conversations like that, I would like to submit more evidence, because I have hundreds of phone calls, and probably I could count maybe 20 or so voicemails that he's left for me. I'm pretty sure he called me 6 times in one day, actually.
Why
He's
wouldn't
called
they
me
be submitted already?
multiple times. I've blocked his number, and I had to unblock it to let him know in March that I had done everything I could for the car. And again, I know this is not about the car, but that was the only reason why I unblocked him. And then to get the or what text is why I changed my phone number, because I then realized he was not going to leave me alone.
Okay. And he indicated he came to your work one time and left a note on your car. Have any other information?
Yes, he left a note on my car. And again, if I could submit more evidence, I actually still have that note, and it had nothing to do with the car. It was everything about how he was in love with me and that he just wanted me back. And then he's also tried to call my work, pretending to be somebody else, so that I would talk to him since he was blocked.
Oh, I mean, do you believe that? Is he sending the baby come back notes?
I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all.
I find that, I don't know. People would say we're biased, but I find that hard to believe. And him calling her work.
Yeah, this is definitely not Riley. Can I talk to Haley, please?
Whoever said it though, he does. He has a reason to contact her with having his name on his car.
I mean, if I was stuck in this situation, there's 2 more years on this lease, I would be blowing her phone up too.
We have no receipts.
None.
We have 0 receipts. I don't believe that the car was repoed. They haven't said anything about her being behind or anything.
No, she has it. She still has it.
And I have a blocked voicemail that he had left on my phone after that, stating that he would stop calling my work.
Okay. And how did you know it was him calling you? Did you actually speak to him?
He called my work. My receptionist answered at the time and asked who it was. He used a different name. And then she came up to me, said, someone is asking for you by, I don't exactly remember what name he was using. Then I went to the phone and I said, hi, my name is Haley. How can I help you? And he goes, it's me. Please don't hang up. Don't block me. I need to talk to you. And so I hung up and I said, please don't call this number again.
You should have done that before you hung up. He didn't hear you after you hung up, but that's okay.
And I can get my old boss to validate for me. I can get my receptionist.
Okay, we're gonna do what we're doing today. So
yeah, we're in court now.
Testimony of the parties.
We can't be sending more stuff. We ain't got time for all that. Let's get this done.
All right. And Ms. Sparhawk, Mr. McNeely says his contacts at your home were with your husband and not with you.
They were with both of us, Your Honor. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Sure. We also, I just want for the record, we're not under the influence or anything of the sort that night. So our memory is crystal clear. My husband opened the door and I let it go on for maybe 20 seconds with what he was saying. As soon as I heard my husband say, you need to leave, you're not welcome here. Oh man, my heart sunk. I was like, no way is he going to try to get Haley right now. And no way is he going to try to do something with my husband right now, because I don't think he would do something personally to me if I were there, because I think he, at the end of the day, maybe respects me a little bit, but I definitely intercepted and I said, whoa, what are you doing here? You need to leave. There's no reason for you to be at my home. It was 9:30 at night. We were putting my boys to bed.
Whoa, stop the clock.
It scared us and it shook us so bad. It scared my boys. Like, we've just never been in like a situation like that before.
Why didn't she just let her husband handle the situation? Why is she intervening?
Was he coming in all hot, or did I miss that part?
I didn't hear anything other than him saying, I think you need to leave. You're not welcome here. And then in her mind, she's like, oh my God, he's coming to get Haley.
Also, by the way, and I'm going to agree with you guys in the chat. Her starting off, again, my detector goes off when people add in a lot of things that they don't need to, when they're telling a lie to make it sound even better. Starting off about the fact that, hey, we were completely sober. So that should be the way that should automatically be that way. I was not thinking about either of them being blasted that night.
That'd be like her coming in and saying, just letting you know, we all had our clothes on and had not had unprotected sex a few minutes before.
Right. There's no reason to mention
there's no reason to bring that up. No one was saying that.
So that automatically is a red flag in my mind.
Again, my wife knows if I step outside to deal with someone that's not supposed to be at my house, she knows to lock the door behind me, not to come barging out 5 seconds later to say, whoa, you're scaring my kids.
Well, see, listen, the way that she's reacting is like he's standing there with a pew-pew or something, or like a tire iron, or, yelling at the top of his lungs at something, but it doesn't sound, hi, Yucky, doesn't sound like it's that way at all.
Yeah.
So,
not once did he walk up and say, Haley here. I mean, not even once. So let's hear it. Maybe there's more to the story. Can we talk to Mr. Hawk? Perhaps.
He's there. So I'm going to the kitchen to get
the
himself,
Hawkster.
He's in there mixing up one of them protein shakes.
Yeah, he is.
And he called my husband an SHIT dad twice, and they heard it. They were standing on the stairs freaking out. So,
shit,
that whole situation was unnecessary, unwarranted. It didn't need to happen, and it has shaken our entire family. So
to its core.
I feel like I'm in the middle of this, and I should not be. I love Haley. She is my friend, and I'll help her and be there for her for the rest of my life. But I can't handle being in this. I want my kids to be safe and me to be safe.
There's your Haley-luia. Thank you, Troyalty Podcast. If you see Crass, say hi.
We're just tell Crass what's up. She's pushing it, man. I mean, she's really milking this for all it's worth right a second. All it's worth.
Safe, our business to be safe, our home. This is our safe place. So.
All right. So as far after the 21st of May, has there been any contact from Mr. McNeely?
Not from Mr. McNeely directly. His girlfriend called me. And I didn't know his girlfriend. I didn't know her name.
At this point, I'm going to object.
No, I'm
Mr.
gonna,
McNeely had no knowledge.
I'm going to hear. I'll hear. Okay, go ahead.
And I was scared. She made me believe she was scared for her safety. It was kind of manipulative.
What?
And I've not been in this situation. So I immediately said, I don't know if this damaged the order or something. So I called our police officer. I told him. And he said, at this point, I think it's okay. I don't know if he directly told her to call or whatnot. But the officer proceeded to call her, and then he decided to call, Riley McNeely decided to call the officer. The officer called me and he said, now I know why you guys feel the way you feel. He's very threatening. He's very demanding.
Hearsay.
I didn't know what to do. I don't know what to do in this position. I don't want to be in this position. And I do want to apologize to the court for submitting a video or the audio of her phone call with me. However, I was under no knowledge that was not allowed because she called me while I was out.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, so it's not going to be an issue of evidence in this case.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
The dude's there in court. In the courtroom.
Yeah, he's in
Carmack,
person.
it was Ms. Clark that called you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as you just stated, and I appreciate your candor, you don't know if Mr. McNeely had anything to do with that phone call, correct?
I don't know, other than I knew they were together. Why else would she be calling me?
Did you make a phone call to the police asking they do a welfare check on Ms. Clark?
Oh, absolutely. I was terrified.
Okay, she just shook her head. No, and she said, "Oh my God, yes, absolutely."
Could you not get a hold of Haley?
Did she try and get up with the receptionist?
Gonna call our cop and yeah. If you can't get a hold of her, get a hold of her receptionist. That little humble brag there.
Again, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this is way overblown.
No, it's sensationalized like crazy because again, we have if he doesn't sound like he came off like he was there to start a fight or to hurt the family or anybody. She didn't really. She didn't. Look. You make that face all you want, Blondie. You make that face all you want, but you didn't say anything really. It's like There's no proof.
And why? I mean,
In fact.
a wellness check. Oh, I mean, to me, I'm sorry, I could be wrong, ladies. If you don't get mad at me, it feels like they were setting the table for all this preparations. Like, oh, we'll fix him. This is what we're gonna do now and now.
Yeah. I listen. If somebody came to my door and scared my cats or my kids that I don't have, I would at least have some things to throw out to say that he was being vulgar, using bad language, talking at the top of his lungs. He was being,
All I heard was it called him a shit dad.
Right. Well, S-H-I-T.
S-H-I-T. Their small ears around Creed.
She's still very confused, though.
What were they all standing at the door with their ear to the door? I mean, how did they hear all this? She didn't say he was screaming or yelling or nothing. I mean, you should have been dialing 911 right away.
And again, with Haley's testimony was all about the car. And he showed up one time and made six calls in one day one time. And I got lots of proof, but I didn't submit any of it because we're here in court now. So why?
He was sitting there singing "Baby Come Back." Is it me, or does he look like a young Robert Englund who played Freddy Krueger?
I could see that.
I see that.
I was terrified for her. She was crying on the phone, telling me that he was a narcissist, that she has a 2-year-old baby she's trying to protect, that she ran away to Idaho to get away from him.
Okay, I just asked, ma'am, if you called the police to have them check on her.
He actually asked me if I wanted to check on her.
Okay.
Yes, I was worried.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so me and Creed were 100% wrong. She was talking about his girlfriend. She called for a wellness check on his new girlfriend.
Nothing further.
That's twice as crazy.
All right, Ms. Mahoney, any argument? And I've read your brief.
Mahoney.
No, I understand this is an unfortunate situation, and I really do think it all comes down to the car, to this being a financial burden to him, to being in a relationship that moved on. I think what's important here, first of all, with Ms. Sparhawk is don't doubt she was upset that night. And maybe Mr. McNeely did not use the best judgment, but legally it does not qualify as harassment. There were no physical threats. He was at the home the one time. If you do watch the video, although he doesn't leave right away, and he acknowledges that I'm sorry, I forgot to ask him, but do you acknowledge that, sir?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that he went back and forth with Mr. Sparhawk a bit, but he did not physically threaten anyone. He didn't make any property damage when he left. In the video, you can see cars, and you never see him drive by again.
Oh, can I say
Yeah,
something?
hold on, Ms. Barhock, hold on.
But in any case, under unlawful harassment, there still needs to be at least 2 incidents. It needs to be directed to a particular person. And it needs to be of the type of unlawful behavior, not necessarily boorish or rude behavior, maybe that was displayed here. But this is not harassment. And I don't think she needs to worry about him going back to her house again. I think having to hire an attorney here has taught him where he stands and how this works.
Come on.
And that will not be an issue in the future. With regard to Ms. Lashley, by her own words, he's never physically threatened her. He has called her. And I think there is a dispute, obviously, about how much, but it is interesting that those weren't submitted. He says less, she says more. Let's be honest, it's probably somewhere in the middle. But it does tend to be over the car. No one seems to dispute that it's over the car. I do think there would be a dispute that he had feelings for her. He moved on with his car quite soon after their breakup. And he is financially on the hook for this. And he did understand that she was going to try and refinance it. He works in the business. He has a different understanding of what it takes to refinance. They got the car for $18,000. It's a $34,000 car. So there was, financially, probably, he didn't expect there to be a significant difference. And his manager had reached.
They must have bought the car. There's no way this is a lease. They must have bought the car. There's no way that this is, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Out trying to help her refinance it so he could be off and she could have still the decent deal that she had on this car that she can't replace. He doesn't have a problem with her having the car. He just didn't want to be financially obligated on it for 2 more years. And if something happens to the car, he's legally obligated. And so I think that's really the crux here, but it's not domestic violence. And I think the point has been made, and I have explained to him that he may likely be stuck on his lease, because sometimes in relationships, when we make decisions, we have to own those decisions. But I do not believe that the burden
I think
I'm
you're
at
right.
here is what the purpose of these orders are, given their debilitation and what happens with them, and that the proof here is just not met legally on Ms. Farhoff for sure. It's a credibility call, I understand, for your honor, but looking at the big picture over time, and he hasn't excessively contacted her. Again, going to the house that evening wasn't wise, but there had been a big space in between. And so I think that if this was, every day for the last, 9 months, that might be a different thing, but it hasn't been.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think she's referring to it as a lease, but they basically co-signed for her, I would imagine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cases.
Car really depreciated a lot when they got it.
Keep in mind marital things while they were only together for a year. Even worse. Even worse.
So really, by the time this is all said and done, about 4 years will have passed from the purchase of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but help that kid. There's a lost child in your home, lady.
Yeah, the neighborhood kid just came home.
Hey, young Mikey just walked through, looking sharp as ever.
So now I'm even more. Yeah, and she kept saying refinance. You're not refinancing a lease, right?
No,
I don't think.
No way.
Yeah, the car needed to be. Again, this isn't about the car. This has nothing to do with the car, though. That's the thing. We're still hung up on this damn car.
And like the judge said, look, I have nothing to do with this car. This is not what
he already said that, right? He already said I just like he said about the kids. Like, hey, are you streaming video games, Mom? Are you on Twitch?
Yeah. You got way more clothes on than you usually do when you're in front of that camera.
You imagine. Again, as we go through the proof of this, just like the lawyer just said, like we were saying, he didn't show up all hostile and coming at you. And
I really don't think he wanted her back. Yeah, sell the car. Get what you owe on it.
Or get a new get somebody else to co-sign for you. You can do that with the refinancing, I would imagine, right?
She seems to not without a large cash sum. Significant. Very significant.
Yeah, right. Blondie should be on this.
Yeah, she should have co-signed if she loves her so damn much.
Family still shook. She still looks scared, doesn't she?
Yeah, like this guy with the weakest chin I've ever seen is going to show up at your house.
Good for him to get the lawyer because, let's be honest. If there's some accusations being thrown your way throughout all this, it does make you look a whole lot better when you got a lawyer to talk to, to talk for you. Especially with instances like this.
What was that?
The full file.
I will say this. The guy behind him is so in love with that woman.
He is in love. But listen, he doesn't get to leave the forest very often. He doesn't really know how to act in public. They don't get a lot of time together. She makes a lot of porridge, morning, noon, and night.
Is the judge going to surprise us with like some crazy verdict?
Who's that silver fox you're talking to, Mom? That's not Dad. Daddy grabbed his protein shake and left for the gym, bro.
Yeah, he's getting his squats in right now.
I mean, it seems like that. But again, if you are a scorned lover and you like this dude and you hate that you're broken up, you don't want that connection to be severed. You want that connection.
You want to keep something. She's just trying to punish him, allegedly.
That could be too. Yeah,
he's got another woman.
She could still be in love with him, or she absolutely can't stand him and wants this to be a nightmare for him. That's true. Allegedly on both angles. I only say that because I think that we're here for something else, because, again, I don't see a lot of proof of him stalking or
No.
even really
Ms.
being an
Lashley,
a-hole.
did you and Mr. McNeely used to live together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh my God, that was fast.
And
Buying
you
cars,
agree with
living.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
don't
Your Honor.
disagree, they're intimate partners.
that? Okay, thank you.
They're intimate partners. They've done it, Judge. But the amount of proof for harassment and stalking,
0.0.
I just don't see it. Why is she playing them love games with him?
Oh, I agree 100%. And again, I want to say this: it's not about the car here,
Yeah.
which is what all that we've discussed for the most part is about this car, the entire thing, which is just, it's crazy. I don't see it, but
And you referred to a child, Mr. McNeely, but it's not Ms. Lashley's child.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, I impregnate women I'm not dating. Allegedly. Who, the guy in the back row? That guy in the back row is ready, man. He's like, hey, when's it my turn? This
Exactly.
is my
Loud,
child,
exactly.
my child bride.
See it all the time for eviction orders or any of the sort. That's almost what it seems like here. That I don't know.
I mean, if he just shows up one day and takes the car,
Which he legally can, I believe.
yeah, I don't know how she could stop him, vice versa. But she needs to sell the car for whatever she owes on it, pay off what she owes,
Yeah.
and just be done with it and start over.
Right. But we're here because, yeah, she's in danger from a stalker.
I'm pretty sure every conversation started with, what about the car?
Yeah, right. One other thing I'd love to point out, too, is the
Right. As I indicated, I had read what had been filed.
The lack
including
of
what was
evidence.
filed today that we previously didn't have access to. And I reviewed the brief that Ms. Mahoney filed on behalf of Mr. McNeely. I heard testimony from the various parties and make the following findings as to the case involving Ms. Lashley and Mr. McNeely. In this case, they broke up in October. The car, as Ms. Mahoney points out, was the issue. And that all the parties seem to agree that that was the primary issue, although Ms. Lashley points out that the note that Mr. McNeely left didn't refer to the car. It referred to him trying to get back in the relationship or express
Yeah, that's why he's
remorse
trying
about
to
the
get
end of
back
the
into it.
relationship. A little unclear to me, but regardless, the car seemed to be the primary point of contention here. I do note that there was written evidence by way of text messages concerning the car back and forth, and then Ms. Lashley had made a point of saying, I don't want to hear from you anymore, or I'll get an order or something. And then, or just said, I don't want to hear from you anymore. And Mr. McNeely said, or what? With a fairly strong implication that that wouldn't stop him. And this in the face of Ms. Lashley's testimony that Mr. McNeely contacted her hundreds of times. Mr. McNeely said it was 6. Hundreds not being a precise number, 6 being a fairly precise number. I'm going to guess 6
And a
is
pretty cool
way
dude.
low. Hundreds may be high, but I think there was probably a lot of contact because Mr. McNeely was very interested in getting off the car.
Uh-oh.
Then did he just happen by Ms. McNeely's place of employment and leave a note? That's what Mr. McNeely says. I'm not sure. I'm convinced that that wasn't done on purpose, but regardless, that's another effort here. And then finally, Mr. McNeely testifies that he believes that
She's flicking the
Ms.
beam.
Lashley is residing at the Sparhawks address, and hence he goes there in May. after some period of quiet in the relationship and is fairly obstinate, basically saying he's not leaving until he talks to her and he knows she's there. All of this in the face of Ms. Lashley having previously said, I don't want any contact with you. And you're forcing into contact when she's made clear she doesn't want any from you. And the fact that there may be a financial interest at hand doesn't change that, doesn't give somebody a right to engage in that behavior. I am going to enter the protection order for Ms. Lashley. Mr. McNeely, you're not to have any contact with Ms. Lashley for the next year. You're not to go within 1,000 feet of her home or workplace or vehicle.
Wow.
Ms. Lashley, if you want this order renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed.
Wow.
The issue of the car is going to have to be handled in ways that don't involve direct contact between the parties.
Oh, wow.
As to
Oh my goodness.
Starhawk's case, the primary evidence here is that Mr. McNeely went to the home on the 21st of May of somebody uninvolved in the car dispute other than Mr. McNeely's mind. They were housing Ms. Lashley. Ms. Lashley said she was visiting at the time. I don't think whether she was resident or visiting really is an essential fact there. Other than Ms. Lashley would argue that it means that he was stalking her by knowing she was there on a day she was happened to be serendipitously present. But I'm not going to make a finding that way. I can't determine that based on the evidence presented before the court. Mr. McNeely's behavior at that time was totally inappropriate, as I think Ms. Mahoney's recognized. He was asked to leave, asked fairly politely at first, and then told to leave. And he said, I'm not leaving until I get to talk to her. And that's not a right that he has at that point, particularly given the history in the case. However, I don't think there's been no contact since then. I'm going to deny the request for a protection order by Ms. Sparhawk. But what I will say, Mr. McNeely, is Ms. Sparhawk went to the effort of filing a petition with the court seeking protection. Even though I don't find the facts warrant the entry of that order today, she's made very clear that she and her family do not want any contact from you, whether Ms. Lashley's there or not.
Yes, sir.
And I expect that you will fully comply with that. I have no idea about this call by Ms. Clark. It doesn't sound like it was something you put her up to, because she seemed to be reporting that to Ms. Sparhawk that she was afraid of you. So I'm not sure that would make any sense, that you would somehow put her up to the call. But I expect that you won't contact her. I expect you won't have any third parties contact the Sparhawks.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so I've entered a denial on that order, and a order on Ms. Lashley's case. Will provide, since you're present in court, hard copies of those orders. And for Ms. Sparhawk and Ms. Lashley, copies of those orders will be available in the electronic file that you have at district court, and you can access it that way.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. And Ms. Mahoney, thank you, Mr. McNeely.
Wow.
You stupid bastard.
So two things I want to point out. Right before he started rambling on about that is what I was going to get to, is to say exactly what you just said, Cameron, which we usually, when we come to a point where it looks like the entire chat unanimously agrees that that's kind of cray-cray that just happened. We usually can say, well, now don't forget the judge has a lot he can look at, or the judge has a lot that they can go through that we are not privy to. However, it didn't sound like he did in this case, because remember, right in the beginning, he says with the phone call, no. And then he says what he did look through and what he did read through was the dude getting a hold of her because of the car. He said that.
The call, the one that was going to be admissible. But, I don't think.
Text messages.
Yeah.
And the text messages were about the car.
I don't know.
And Kiernoff made a very valid point there on that one also.
I'm guessing him showing up at that house
Mhm.
was what did it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of that makes any sense whatsoever.
It didn't. And again, typically that's what we'll fall back on. But he specifically stated what was in evidence. One, he couldn't do because it's illegal in that state. And the other thing was some of the text messages. Remember, after all of this, she even stated about all this evidence that she's got all these receipts, but she didn't hand in much, from what I understand. So I don't know. Let's hope that it was that, because from
And
what
it just
we
boiled
heard,
down. Yeah, it boiled down to him believing her over him.
yeah, from what we heard was not much at all. But I think that you're right about that. It was the showing up.
That's why it was such an important thing that they established. She was not staying there at that time.
Right.
Because if that was her residence, okay, he was going there to try and find her. But by it not being her residence, he's having to put in this effort. He's doing this stalking. He's doing, so that had to be the only thing.
Pamela brings up a very valid point too, that you guys want to remember with these protection orders. It's not just somebody just signing off a piece of paper and don't contact them. No, this looks bad on you. It looks bad. You got something against you like that's some serious stuff. It's not just signing a protection order and it's done. No,
he thought he was having a hard time with that still being on his credit. Good luck. Good luck.
That's an interesting one.
She blew it. The attorney blew it. She had one job.
Blowing it. World's most dangerous chat, and it lives up to its name.
Casey, thank you for the pertinent information here.
Yes, and
we'll take it into consideration.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
We'll just think about it.
That's right.
We're just going to think about it.
We'll just think about it. Guys, appreciate you so much. The I Want My Car Express. Deb, thank you. Did we add in Debbie, by the way? Awesome. I think so. No. Matt, Dreamweaver, Shelly, welcome. Chris, Kenya, Deborah, Shelly, Super Ross, Renlaw. I say Wenlaw, not Renlaw. Kiernoff, Lady Lotus, the Troy Oakley podcast on YouTube. Click subscribe.
Yeah, might as well. Why not?
We thank you guys. That was a good case regardless. It was an interesting one. I'm shocked on that one, to be completely honest with you. I just I wish I would have starred Leather and Lashes, who said, well, I still don't hate him as much as the other woman judge, because you're allowed to mess up one once in a while, just not every single one.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I didn't see it coming, but that's the great thing about what we do here. We give you a chance to enjoy it with a crowd of people or by yourself and pretending that you're still here with us each and every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Probably not today. We've gone like 5 or 6 days in a row. Creed doesn't feel good today. And we still have Mini Taste Monday and a members only to do. So
we're still busy. Got a lot of work to do. And you do too, by liking the video, by subscribing wherever you're watching, and considering becoming a member for that added extra level of support.
Also, since there's so many case sets here and we're doing court, you said there is a premiere today at 6.
One at 3:30 and one at 6. So you got 2 coming your way. One is the deadbeat bounty hunter, and the other one is Judge Simpson dealing with a guy that said, Judge, I just want to fire my attorney and let's just move on with this. I just get rid of him now. I told him, go on, yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Make sure you go over to Credence and Mikey. That's where you'll catch those cases today. You don't want to catch a case of something worse. So go ahead on over there and do that now. Creed, anything else?
I'm sorry. I'm over here on her Facebook.
Oh, go ahead. You worry about that. Much more important. You guys, you guys stay safe. Stay hard. Stay tuned. Because the best is yet to come, baby. Top Guys are out.
Not a lot on our Facebook.
She's more of an Instagram kind of chick.
Probably, yeah.